Okay, so as we do, right, and take a few moments to land and maybe recall the effects and benefits of all of our efforts in this practice. The ability to get grounded, right? Shift towards balance, move towards center. All these lessons learned from years of practice, we put into these moments. And then once we're about as here and about as now as we can be right off the bat, right? In the face of whatever, we do our best to remember our breath. Right? It can be as simple right here as a handful of longer and longer, smoother and smoother inhales and exhales. And in real time, hopefully, the shoulders soften, the jaw releases, the hips relax a little bit, leaving us with the space to refine balance, send roots deeper, then lengthen and lift, especially up through the spine a little bit higher. There. And take a good look, get a real sense of the landscape, the inner landscape. How's the physical body feel? There. And some days that's enough. And if we don't want to touch heart or disturb mind, you can just focus on the body. Otherwise, we're also observing thought patterns, right? Waves of thought coming and going, some not going quick enough, maybe. Just notice, right? The mind interprets events and sensations and generates emotion. Maybe just get a sense of those connections. Ideally, we allow it all to just flow as it's meant to. And we just get more and more skillful at riding those waves, whether they rise high and crash low. We're still here, it's still now. And if you like, bring your hands together, thumb center the chest, right? As clear as you can be about what you need. You're welcome to keep it simple. Or of course, right, because practice, because inner strength, right? Maybe open to it all. And of course, you can frame all of that as prayer. Turn to Goddess or God or Spirit. And then add any other prayers you'd like. For communities and families, anywhere in the world that might need it. especially those close to home. Yeah. And the best thing we can do is get as calm, as cool, as collected, and as connected as possible. So let's do that. Yeah. You kick it all off with the sound of one Om. Exhale completely, go all the way to empty. Take a unified breath, full breath in and a smooth breath out. And if you're inclined, one Om, inhale. We release the hands, let all that settle. We're going to hit play on the playlist as we go back to the breath. And if you haven't already, right, we kick off that Ujjayi technique. Yeah. Again, long and smooth, right? And because practice, that might be enough, right? Just a little nudge to lengthen the breath and to smooth it out. And as much as possible, we get to full and we float a beat or two or even three, and then we go all the way to empty, right? Transition nice and smooth into that deep, quiet stillness where we coast for a few beats as well. Round and round, completing these powerful cycles. At the same time, spiraling towards understanding, peace, freedom, ease, or whatever you called it, whatever you need. And we're open to the idea that just sitting here and breathing might be exactly what we need. Otherwise, we move, right? We'll come forward, hands and knees, and it's just all these little checks, right? How the wrist, how the shoulder, what's going on around the neck. Our cat-cow sequence right here, right? And some mornings you're gonna feel lit up and strong and clear right off the bat. You can move all through all this quickly, right? Being down dog, right? Before you know it. And some days you need more time, right? A little extra love to the wrists, right? A few extra rolls of the shoulders, shift around, even a child's pose. And truly into our downward facing dog, right? Sorry, you lost me for a second. And in the down dog, right? Whatever you need. Walk and swing and bounce. Push and lengthen and lift. You can move nice and slow here. Right? And when it's done, right, be done. Push, strong arms, long spine, hips high, head heavy. Squeeze and press. Heels further, legs straighter, legs stronger. Deep Ujjayi breathing. And we'll take a couple more. Each inhale to push and to lengthen. Each exhale to squeeze and to press. One more like that. All the way empty. And then how about we roll forward and back a few times? Inhale, right? A slow, controlled roll forward to a high plank. And as you exhale, soften knees first and press, sliding back down dog. Right? You can always skip this. If you like it, do it extra. It could be super slow or even double time once in a while if you want to speed it up. Maybe one more time forward like this. One more time back to that down dog. Exhale. There. And then we come forward one more time. Inhale to the high plank. And this time as you exhale, we lower to the floor, right? Maybe knees first with control and we land. Plug the tail down, roll the shoulders, pull and then push, lengthen and lift as you inhale to your height. Be there at full. And as you exhale, release back down. There. And do that again and again. Inhale, lengthen and lift to your height. Be there at full. And as you exhale, release back down. And then one more back bend here. Inhale, lifting, lengthening. And then, yeah, this time as you exhale, release, push back knees, tuck toes, lift hips, down dog. One breath there. Inhale, get longer still. Exhale, squeeze and press even further. And then on empty, soften, look forward. As you inhale, walk or step or hop if you must. Top of the mat, lengthen and look forward. And as you exhale, fold. Couple more breaths here to lift and fold or to swing and bounce or to just hang out if that's better. One more breath, all the way in, all the way out. And then this first time to standing, right? As we do, maybe we roll up through the spine, yeah. Disc on top of disc, there's no rush. Take an extra breath at the top. The shoulders roll, the head arrives, the hands land. There. A deep Ujjayi breath right here. And we exhale, we go right into our Surya Namaskar practice. We'll link a few together when you're ready and inhale to reach out and up. And then an exhale to fold forward. And as we do, bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, prepare, palms flat, weight forward, feet go back. And as you exhale, you lower either all the way or halfway to the floor. The inhale is to lengthen and lift the front bone. And the exhale guides you back, downward facing dog. One breath here. All the way empty. And then soften, look forward. As you inhale, travel, walk, step, or hop. As you exhale, fold. And as you inhale, rise, strong, long, tip, reach, look, stretch up, up, up. And then we fold straight away as we exhale. We'll just link them all together like this. Inhale, prepare. Feet go back, and as you exhale, right, you make it your own. You can always go straight to down dog, otherwise lower. The inhale is to lift, and the exhale is to guide you back down dog for one breath. And then you soften and look, inhale to travel. Same inhale as you arrive, lengthen. As you exhale, fold. And as you inhale, rise. Take your breath to the top. And as you exhale, fold again. Inhale to set the hands, right? Feet go back and you flow through, yeah, your way with your breath. Down dog as you exhale. For one breath, right? And the inhale eventually to travel. And fold and rise. One more time like that. All the way to top, full stretch. And then fold forward again as you exhale, right? You and your breath. You don't need me, right? Make it your own, right? Remember why you're here and keep flowing towards that. Top of the mat with the inhale, and the exhale is to fold. The inhale is to rise. Top of the mat, we exhale, stand tall. Just take a breath, let it all be fine. And then when you're ready, we'll take a big step, open either side of the mat. Nice wide stance. We'll turn the left toes in and point the right toes out. Keeping the pelvis level, left hip pulled back. We're gonna bend into the right leg. And so spine's upright, ribs over hips, shoulders over hips as well. And we add the arms to shoulder hip. And we take a moment here to play with depth, to anchor back into that left foot, to lengthen spine. And then can we stretch the arms equally out in both directions, right? Pulling away from each other. You might even feel that pull in the center of the chest. There. And then we'll pulse. You exhale, you can play with lunging further. And the inhale is to straighten the right leg and lift the wrists, float at the top. And as you exhale, let's lunge back in, spine upright. Right? Lunge deep, stretch arms a couple more times like that. Inhale, fly. Exhale, lunge back in. You got it. One more time like that. Inhale to the top, float for that beat. Your exhale, and you land back in. A few breaths here, right? As deep, strong, as long as you like. You can even back off and soften if you need. You can play with both energies. Exhale completely. One more breath here. Exhale. And as you inhale, we straighten the right leg, release the arms, and switch the feet. Same inquiry start. And the way might be clear. As you lunge, right, the pelvis, right, is level, anchoring the right foot, spine upright, shoulders, ribs, hips stacked, arms again, shoulder height, right? Lunge further, right leg stronger, stretch the arms wider, right? And repulse. Exhale, further still. And as you inhale, straighten, lift wrists, float. And as you exhale, lunge, and we're not staying, just going to play with depth. Right? Keep exhaling, keep exhaling. And then a couple more times. About one. All the way empty. And you can stay with it. You can land deep and strong. You can soften. You can play with it. A couple more breaths. One. And as you inhale, straighten left leg, release the arms, hands to hips, left toes turning. Right toes, they stay in, right feet planted, legs strong. Inhale, lift the front line of the body, roll and arch as much as you like. And then we keep that length of front body as we lift back up. Exhaling, we fold forward. And then when you can, you release hands and lock or floor. And we've got at least a handful of breaths here, right, to explore. Right? Again, it can always be restorative, right? You can hang back and soften and just let gravity do some of the work here. Rock the weight forward and back. You might turn the legs all the way on, like get them singing. That might pull you out of the fold over time as the legs strengthen and clear, right? Those strong legs will help you tip further forward. Right? Seat lifting, spine lengthening, each squeeze an opportunity to draw further and further forward. There. How about a couple more breaths? One more. And as you inhale, when you're ready, lengthen forward. Exhale, maybe soften knees, hands to hip. And as you inhale, let's lift all the way back up. At the top, take a moment, right? Make the gaze down, we soften to ground. And then one more shape from here. When you're ready, keeping the left toes turned in, we point the right toes back. Feet planted, legs strong, ribs lift, arms shoulder height. Utthita Trikonasana, sacred geometry. As you inhale, reach out along the leg at your edge, tipping, release the shoulder, turning. If the way is clear, you're welcome to reach and look. And y'all know me, I'm quite happy to have my hand on my hip. Just work with lifting the chest, rolling both shoulders, finding ways to turn the rib cage. Any of it. There. Find your spot. Never static or rigid. Right. In and out. Right. Letting the breath. A couple more. Exhale completely. Letting down when you're done. And use the inhale of that top arm to pull you out. And release the arms and switch the feet. Right toes in, left toes in. Planted, strong, lifted long. Add the arms. And then inhale to reach out along the left leg. At your edge. Right? You're tipping and turning the way it's clear, reaching, maybe looking. No rush for any of that. Balancing feet, strength in the leg. And even if we're lengthening, lifting, and turning, you can find a lightness here. In the gaze, in the jaw, in the palm, even in the breath. I'll take at least a couple more.  'Cause exhale. Looking down. Inhale, pulling yourself back in. Release the arms. Turn the left toes in. Have yourself a moment. And then when you're ready, as simply as we can, right, we step back, top of the mat. Land with an exhale. When you're ready, an inhale to reach up. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale, prepare. Feet go back. You're welcome to go straight to down dog. Otherwise, high to low, lower to lift, right? Full deal. We'll meet in a downward facing dog. Exhale completely. And then Vashisthasana or side plank on the right. So the right hand goes a touch further forward. It might be right knee straight down below the right hip, right? Or outer edge right foot. Either way, we extend left leg. We stack hips and shoulders. Maybe reach. Maybe look. Any version of this. And we breathe. Perfect. Right, we're pushing. Right, we're extending. We're lifting the hips even higher. You got it. A couple more breaths here. I fully expect you to shake like me. One more. All the way empty. And then real simple, we just switch sides. Left hand down. And again, either left knee or outer edge left foot. We're not symmetrical. We'll allow this side to be unique. Extend, we stack, we stack. Maybe reach, maybe look. Definitely breathe. Could you lift the hips higher? Could you push the floor further away? You got it. Couple more breaths here. And about one. Exhale. And the inhale is back to center, to a high plank. And as we exhale, we'll lower all the way to the floor. Knees first if you need, and we land. Right away, chin to center, arms long beside you. You can keep the hands to the floor, palms up or down, or you can lace the fingers together at your seat if you prefer. Either way, roll the shoulders away from the floor, plug the tail down, exhale. And as you inhale, strength of back body to lift the chest and maybe the legs. There. If the fingers are lazy, maybe the hands float, reaching upwards for heels to lift even higher, and breathe. And you got it. Squeezing back body. Right? Couple more breaths. And about as high as you can get. Inhale, lift more. Stay. And then release. Yeah. Release the arms, the shoulders, turn the cheek. Let the heels fall wide. Maybe rock the hips side to side. There you go. Maybe turn the other cheek. And then when you're ready, we are simply going to flip over. And then once you flipped over, you bend your knees, plant your feet. Feet can be wide, the knees can trend in. You can really feel the hips nice and heavy, the shoulders ground as well. And then we go right into our back bending practice. Maybe draw the heels closer. There you go. Up and down at least a couple times. Right. If you're at all inclined to plant the hands by the ears, you can do that first or afterward. Back bend or two. We can add a block under sacrum anytime. When you're ready, push down and lift up. And you got it. Chest to chin, chin away from chest, let the shoulders go down. Tuck the shoulders further. Maybe lace the fingers and then reach the knuckles for the heels, stretching the arms, pulling the shoulders further away from the ears. Push the feet, squeeze feet. Keep breathing. You got it. Maybe a couple more breaths in what we'll call a first round. And you can stay up, especially if you're on the block. Right? Might be nice to release out. Take a moment to reevaluate. And then lift one more time. Again, maybe this time you plant the hand, maybe this time you add the blocks. And find your spot. And then 5 breaths at least to refine, to stay, maybe to play a little bit. And every day, maximum's a little bit different. Find yours today. Maybe take another breath or two. When you're done, be done. Okay. We'll eventually release and land and just let it all be felt, right? You might get called back in. You might need the reset, the squeeze the knees to chest, or maybe you wipe knees side to side. And then how about we go right into our inversion practice? We get our legs up in the air, right? And it can simply be the leg. Some support under the hips, the legs can relax up there. Maybe put your legs up the wall or the furniture. Otherwise, your shoulder stand might be right here. There. And the encouragement, as always, will be to stay longer. And that'll be different from mat to mat, from screen to screen. Okay. Just start to maybe be mindful of what brings you out. You might just be bored. Sometimes we're lazy. Right? Sometimes we feel complete and compelled. Maybe wait for that one. Once you feel complete in the shoulder stand and there's no rush, please do stay longer if you need. The shoulder stand evolves to Halasana or plow. Legs go overhead, toes to the floor above us. Sometimes we just roll through that shape. Other times we stay for long enough, right? Chin away from chest, chest towards chin, we stretch. And when you're done with the plow pose, you roll through. Now, whether you're in shoulder stand or not, Matsyasana and fish might be really nice. Arms underneath you, shoulders too. We push to elbows, keeping the feet down, push to elbows, lift the chest, and then take the head back to open the throat. There. A few breaths like that. And once that feels complete, we release. Release arms, release shoulders and head. Maybe plant the feet again. Now you could slide right to Shavasana. And we maybe have a couple minutes here to twist. Right? It could be as simple as just wiping both knees over to the right. You could also take the hips to the left first and take the knees up and around and to the right. Okay. Anchor the legs to the side and then come back across the body to release the opposite shoulder towards the floor. And breathe. There. Already immersed in at least a measure of what you came for. Right? Let's call it again. Make sure we hit our mark. Get complete on the first side. And when you're ready, come back through center. And it could be as simple as just wiping the knees the other way. Otherwise, hips to the right, knees up and around and to the left. Anchor the legs to the side. And then back across the body to the opposite shoulder, releasing it to floor. Deep Ujjayi breathing. Take at least a few more. Once you feel complete, you will come on back to center. Whatever the setup looks like, whatever you need, layer on, add the prop. We'll find our way out to Shavasana. Feet and hands wide, hips and shoulders heavy. Release legs, release arms. Soften the chest, allowing the head to go all the way back. Melt spine, release breath, and relax. A few minutes here at least to just float free. No rush. You're welcome to stay longer. When you're ready, come back to breath, come back to movement, wiggle and roll and shift, stretch and maybe squeeze, rock and roll, maybe come around and up. Join us in a seat when you're ready. And in this little here now bubble, appreciate the effect of your effort. Feel grounded, balanced, and centered, equipped and resourced for whatever the day will bring. Because practice. If you like, thumbs together, hands together, thumbs too. We close with gratitude. Always finding a way to be grateful for any of it, really. Especially community. Me, I'm grateful for you. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome, Jen.
So appreciate that.
I hope the day feels supported and there's some ease and some space.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you again.
See you again. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Peter.